Welcome students. In this session I am going to discuss certain basics of Python programming language. But as soon as we talk about a language, what is the first thing that you study in a language? Character set, right? You have studied English language, and what was the first thing that you studied in English language? Was the alphabet, which was the character set of English language, right? You studied Hindi language. What was the first thing that you studied in Hindi language? It's letters like chota, bada and all, right? So whenever you study any language, the first thing that is taught to you is the character set, or the set of valid characters that this language recognizes. Okay, and every component, every thing of that particular language is made up of those characters only. So let us see what is the character set of Python language. The first thing that comes is letters. Letters, very common, capital A to Z or small a to Z. Then comes the digits. Digits are from 0 to 9. Then comes the special symbols. Now special symbols include everything like the operators which are there on the keyboard, the punctuation marks which are there on the keyboard like comma, semicolon, colon, okay, like parenthesis, your curly braces, square brackets, everything apart from these letters and digits, okay, comes under this special symbols. So these are also used in Python programming language. And the last is white spaces. So white spaces refer to the blank spaces like pressing the enter key, which takes your cursor to the next line, like tab, which leaves a space of 8 characters. Blank space, you press the space bar and you see that one of a space of 1 character is left. So all these refer to the white spaces. We have numerous examples of all these, but here I have to only give you a concept regarding what all is there inside Python programming language. Then the next thing is tokens. You know children, whenever you study any language and the statements of that language are composed of certain small units. Like if I take example of English language, then every statement of English language, or you can say every sentence of English language, is composed of certain words and then punctuation marks and then various other parts of the sentence. Okay, so all those small individual units of that sentence are actually making up that sentence and making that sentence meaningful. In the same way, in Hindi language also, view a statement of Hindi language is composed of shabd, and then you have comma, you have purned viram and all. So every language, the means statements of every language are composed of some small units which are called, which in terms of programming language are called tokens. Okay. So in the same way, in Python language also, you know that you are going to make programs, and those programs are made up of small individual units which are termed as tokens, right? These tokens are also called lexical units, another term for the word token. And these tokens are of 5 types, namely keyword, identifier, literal, separator, which are also called punctuators, and operators. Literals are also called constants. Clear? So now we are going to discuss each of these tokens in detail. So the first type of token is keyword. Children, you know that in every language there are certain words which have a special meaning in that language, and whenever you use that language and you need that kind of purpose for which that particular word is defined, then you use that word in that situation. Okay, like suppose I want someone to stand up in front of me. For that, which word of English language I use? I simply order him to stand up. and as soon as the person goes through this word, he is imparted a message that he has to get up, okay, and stand. So in the same way, there are numerous words in English language. Let's say the entire dictionary, it is a collection of words to which English has given a special meaning, and whenever you use those words, you use it for the appropriate meaning which English language has given to that word. Okay, you know that what is word? Word is just a collection of alphabets, right? But is every collection of alphabet a word for word in English? No. If I simply say the word A, B, X, Y, this is also a word because it is a collection of alphabets, and according to that definition, it is a word. But does this word find any meaning in English dictionary? No. So for English language, this word is not a word. Okay, so in the same way, every language, you have Hindi, you take up the example of Hindi language, in that also you have a Shabdkosh, in which in Hindi language has defined the meaning of all the words which are valid for that language and their corresponding meaning, and whenever you need that kind of meaning, you use that word. So in the same way, Python is also a language, right? High level programming language, and this language has also reserved certain words for which it has given a special meaning, and whenever interpreter comes across this word, it interprets it in the same way as per the meaning given to it by the Python programming language, right? So according to the definition, keywords are the reserved words which have a special meaning for the language compiler or interpreter. Means whatever translator that language is utilizing, like in case of Python we have interpreter, in case of C++ and Java we used to have compiler. So whatever is the translator, that translator has a special meaning for that word, and such words are called keywords. Now let us take certain examples. See, def, del, break, continue, for, if, else, all these are some reserved words, but these are not all. These are just a few examples, and you will come to know about various other keywords of the language as you study the language, right? So this is what is called a keyword. Then the next type of token is identifier. Now as soon as you come across this word, the literal meaning of this word in your English language is something with the help of which you can recognize an entity. In the same way, here also identifier has the same purpose, means it is a medium through which you can recognize something or you can identify something. Now what is it that you need to identify within Python programming language? Children, actually whatever programs you make, within those programs we have several parts, and we need to give names to several parts of the program. So those names which you will give to those parts of the program are called identifiers. So identifier, as per definition, are the names given to different parts of the program. But the most important application of identifier which you will come across in a very short span of time as soon as we start making programs is the variable names. First thing about identifier is that these are the names given to different parts of the program, but these are user defined. Means you have the liberty to decide what name to give to a particular part of the program. But for that you need to follow certain rules. You have the liberty to keep names according to your choice, but keeping in mind certain rules which Python programming language has given to you. So identifier, what is the best application of identifier? You know children, whenever you perform any kind of operation, for performing that operation you need to use your brain. In the same way, whenever you perform any operation, you need to use RAM. RAM is the brain of the computer. Okay, so in order to use RAM, what happens? Within RAM, you have a grid-like structure. Now, just imagine RAM to be like a grid, this way, and a particular section, intersection of row and column is called as the cell. So you have these many cells in RAM. Okay, now you know that every cell will have an address. Okay, there will be a particular address of this cell, there will be a particular address of this cell. Clear? Now these cells are utilized by your programs to store values in it and then to refer to these memory locations as and when required throughout the program. Okay, so these memory cells have a specific memory address, but these addresses vary from system to system. So suppose if you have written a variable a is equal to 5, then suppose 5 has got a place over here. ये आपको कभी पता नहीं चलता कि रैम की किस सेल में आपका वेरिएबल स्टोर, आपकी वैल्यू स्टोर्ड है. बस आपको ये मालूम होता है कि यस द वैल्यू इज समवेयर स्टोर्ड इन रैम. जस्ट लाइक हमें ये नहीं मालूम होता कि हमने अपने माइंड में कोई चीज़ कहाँ पे स्टोर कर रखी होती है. बस ये मालूम होता है कि हाँ ये हमारे माइंड में है. इन द सेम वे, suppose you get this space was free and you get this space from RAM and you store 5 and the name of this location will be A. Okay, so this is the name of this location. So what is the advantage of giving this name? This name is easy for you to refer to this cell. If I remove this medium means of giving the name, then you will have to refer to these memory locations with the help of their memory addresses, and memory addresses are not easy to memorize, and even if you do memorize, then they will vary from system to system. Then how many memory addresses you are going to remember, right? So it's not possible. So that is why programming languages give you a liberty to give name to this memory location from your own side, means as per your requirement. And once you give the name, and whenever you need to use such a cell, then in that case you will make use of the name that you have given. So like I told you that you have to follow certain rules while naming an identifier. So what are those rules? The first rule is that your identifier name should not be similar to a keyword. Like I told that keywords have a special meaning in language. So you cannot utilize those words which are the keywords of Python language as the identifier name. So you must not use a keyword as the identifier name. Second rule is that it can consist of alphabets, digits or underscore. Means all the alphabets that is capital and small are allowed, all the digits that is 0 to 9 is allowed, and only one special character that is underscore is allowed in the name of an identifier. Then it should not start with a digit. Yes, you can have digit at the second, third or fourth or any subsequent place, but you cannot have a digit in the beginning of an identifier name. Next is, it should not contain any special character except underscore. Why underscore is allowed? Means none of the special characters, be it space, be it comma, be it full stop, be it semicolon, none of the special characters are allowed, but only underscore is allowed. Now there is a specific reason why underscore is allowed. Actually, sometimes we have more than 2 words in our identifier. Suppose I want to make my variable name as sum odd. Okay, so by keeping this name, I mean to say that this variable is going to store sum of odd numbers. So I kept a relevant name for my variable and thought it should be sum odd. So if I simply write like this, then reader will read it in will not be able to read it the way you wanted it to. Okay, so what is happening here? You actually have 2 words in this identifier name, so you can separate them with the help of underscore, and now the meaning of your identifier name will be easily understood by the person who is reading your program. But one thing to notice that you can have underscore in the beginning as well. Means the underscore is not only allowed at second, third or any subsequent place, but it is also allowed in the beginning. Okay, so your identifier name can start with an alphabet and it can start with an underscore, but it cannot start with a digit. Then the next point is that identifier name should not be a boolean literal or a non-literal. Children, you already know that there are two boolean values, and in the same way in Python also we have those two values, and they are represented as true or false. Okay, and therefore your variable name should not be similar to true or false, and there is another value called none. You should not keep the name of your identifier as none also. Then the next point is identifier names are case sensitive. This means that if you have kept the name of your identifier as capital A, then you cannot use it as a small a. Once you have given the name capital A, so in order to refer to that location, you will always have to make use of capital A, and if in case you make use of a small a, then system will give you error saying that it is an undefined variable. So identifier names are case sensitive, that is they treat uppercase and lowercase letters separately, and they can be of any length. Means there is no restriction to the length of the identifier name that you can keep, but yes, it will be always better if you keep it small, because then it will be easy for you to use to every time use it, and it will also keep your program concise. But yes, it is advised that you must keep the name of an identifier meaningful, but it is just an advice. If you don't follow this advice, then it's perfectly okay. You just can keep any name for your identifier. So having studied these rules, let us quickly take up a question to check whether you have understood the rule or not. Okay, so you have to identify valid or invalid identifier name as per the rules that you have learned. Okay, so this one will be invalid because it has a dot, and dot is a special character which is not allowed. Only one special character is allowed, and that is underscore. This one is again invalid because it is a keyword. Right now you don't know, but it is a keyword, and that is why you cannot keep the name of your identifier as continue. Okay, here this one is valid because underscore is allowed. It is starting with an alphabet and containing only alphabet, so there is nothing wrong in this. And this was wrong because of this special character, right? Then 3AB, this one is invalid because it is starting with a digit, and you cannot start your identifier name with a digit, although you can have a digit on at any place except for the first place. Then this one is again invalid because of this dollar. Dollar is a special character, not allowed. Then this one is again invalid because true is a boolean literal, and boolean literals are not allowed. Then A1 to 3, this is perfectly okay. See, you are starting with an alphabet and followed by numbers, there is no problem. Then this one is again invalid. Why? Because you have a space in between, and the space is also a special character. Then this one again for the same reason invalid because underscore is allowed but hyphen is not allowed. So this is invalid because of hyphen. Then this one is valid because it is starting with a underscore. I told you that it can start with an underscore, and it can start with an alphabet. It should not start with digit. So see, it is not starting with digit, but at the second, third, fourth, fifth place you can have as many digits as you want. So this one is valid. Then this breaks is valid. See children, there is a keyword, like I told you that break is a keyword. Okay, but this keyword is break in small letters. Now if you make a small change in this keyword, like you add s at the end, means you make it breaks like it has been done here, or you simply keep the name of keep the B capital, then it will not be a keyword, and in that case you can utilize it as a identifier name. Remember that all the keywords of the Python language are in small letters only. So if you make a small change, you can simply use it as identifier name, but not exactly as as keyword. Okay, then this one is also valid. Reason is import is actually a keyword, but that import is in small letters, but this one is having IS capital, so this is no longer a keyword, and therefore it is valid to be an identifier. Then the next type of token is separator or punctuator. Now you know that in every language, whenever there are statements, then within those statements you have some special characters along with the words, like purn viram in Hindi, like comma or full stop in English, right? In the same way, we have certain punctuation marks used in case of Python programming language also, and those are, for example, your brackets. All the three kinds of brackets, they come under the category of punctuator or separator. Then comma, then semicolon, then colon. All these are the examples of punctuators or separators. And as you know that punctuators are the punctuation marks which are used to separate certain parts of the statement. So in the same way, we use punctuation marks in Python programming language also. And the fourth one is operator. Student, operator is a symbol that works upon its objects to that performs some kind of operation upon its objects. Like for example, if I write A plus B, then this plus is an operator here because it is performing the work or the function of addition over A and B. Okay, so in this expression, this A and B are called operands, means the objects over which an operator performs its work is operand, and the symbol which performs this operation is the operator. So in the same way, you will be performing certain operations in Python programs, and for that you will be needing various operators, and these operators are of numerous types which you will study later in a separate video. I will be discussing operators in detail, and for now you just need to know what is an operator. So if I just take a simple example, say A is equal to 5. So see how many tokens you find in this. This is an identifier. Okay, this is a literal. Children, literal I'll discuss in my next video because literal is a vast topic and there are numerous types of literals. So actually literal in just a single word I can say the value which is provided to any variable. आप किसी variable को जो value देते हैं तो वो जो value होती है उसको हम literal कहते हैं, and these are of many types, so I'll be doing a separate video over it. So in this statement, this is a literal and this is an operator. So you can see this expression, a small expression, is made up of identifier, operator and literal. Okay, and right now in this statement there is no keyword, so let it be. Okay, so these are certain, this is an example, and now with this I finish this lecture in which I have discussed all the 4 types of tokens, that is keyword, identifier, operator and punctuator, but only literal is left, that I will be discussing in the next lecture. Thank you.